A brand new troop has been released, the Super P.E.K.K.A. at Builders Hall 8. Let's test it out by attacking every single defense in the Builders base. I'm your host, Judo Sloth. Make sure to subscribe for all of my Clash of Clans content, but let's show you exactly what the Super P.E.K.K.A. does. We're going to attack a head-on-head battle against every single defense, and then right at the end of the video, we'll show you the Super P.E.K.K.A. versus a number of them so that you can see its overcharged ability. But let's start out here with the double cannon. We're obviously going to bring the Super P.E.K.K.A. in from the bottom here, move on up to the double cannon, and as you can see, it has a stack of health and it does a stack of damage as well. Very powerful, but you do only get the single Super P.E.K.K.A. per army camp. Let's move on to the next defense. Let's move right on forward then to the Crusher, one of the defenses which will probably have the most devastating impact onto the Super P.E.K.K.A. We also have the new defense, the Mega Tesla, coming right up. So let's go ahead and test out the Crusher. The P.E.K.K.A. though does do that massive amount of damage. It's very much going to be helpful to get these defenses down very quickly, and as you can see, even against the Crusher, really doesn't take too much damage. Definitely going to be helpful in protecting your battle machine. Moving quickly through the defenses, let's show you the Archer Tower, then we'll move on to the short range Archer Tower. Really it just means as the P.E.K.K.A. gets closer, it will do a little bit extra damage, but taking out the Archer Tower, no problem for the Super P.E.K.K.A. Honestly, that is why you only get one of them per army camp space. It deals a ton of damage. Again guys, once we've been through all of the defenses in a head-to-head battle, we will come back and fight the Super P.E.K.K.A. against a number of defenses, show you more of a realistic battle, but I wanted to show you it versus every single defense first, so you could see exactly how strong it is, and strong it is. Coming forward to the single short-range Archer Tower, again it's going to have the exact same devastation as it did on the long-range Archer Tower. The Giant Cannon and the Mega Tesla are probably the two defenses which are going to be most devastating to the Super P.E.K.K.A. We'll get to them in a second. The Super P.E.K.K.A. will be very useful for things like this. As you can see, the splash damage of the Roaster, which would normally melt some of your lower armies, can be tanked for very nicely by the Super P.E.K.K.A. So keep that one in mind, guys. Exactly the same strategy as with the Roaster. Think of the Super P.E.K.K.A. as another battle machine. You can use it to tank these splash damage defenses and even help your battle machine. You've seen with the Crusher, it took it down no problem. If you can angle a Super P.E.K.K.A. to the Crusher instead of the battle machine, definitely going to be helpful. As you can see, the multi-mortar, absolutely no problem for the Super P.E.K.K.A. Use it to tank for them splash damage defenses, guys, when you're doing your attacks. Before we move on to them stronger defenses, we completely skipped past the cannon. Now the double cannon obviously went down very easily to the Super P.E.K.K.A. This isn't going to be any different. The Super P.E.K.K.A. comes in, nearly gets that single cannon down, and again, just look at the amount of health left on the Super P.E.K.K.A. It is an absolute beast, guys. Okay guys, the thing that the Super P.E.K.K.A., like the battle machine, might struggle with a little bit more is the guard post troops. Now it's not because it's going to have any difficulty taking them down, it's because in a realistic situation, there's other defenses shooting at that Super P.E.K.K.A. We'll try to show you that at the end of the video, but I thought whilst we attacked the Firecrackers and the Air Bomber, they're not going to do any damage to the Super P.E.K.K.A. Why not show you the guard post troops? So here we are, Super P.E.K.K.A. coming in. As you can see, Spring Trap will not affect the Super P.E.K.K.A. Push Trap will. So the Super P.E.K.K.A. not affected by the Spring Trap. Push Trap is able to push it back. The Giant Bomb did a little bit of damage, but again, relative to the Super P.E.K.K.A.'s health, really not too much to worry about. You can see though, because of that Super P.E.K.K.A.'s reduced speed in attack speed, the guard post troops have actually done the best versus the Super P.E.K.K.A. of any of the defenses. You might not have expected that, but obviously just because the Super P.E.K.K.A. is quite slow, it gives the guard post troops a little bit more time to shoot, and that is where the Super P.E.K.K.A. will struggle. Make sure not to get it locked onto them guard post troops if you can help it. Getting down to the final few defenses now before we test the Super P.E.K.K.A. in more of a realistic base, the Giant Cannon. At Builders Hall 7, it's very devastating, and it will be at Builders Hall 8 against the Battle Machine. But how will the Super P.E.K.K.A. fare? You know that one of the strategies is to try and lock giants onto it because they don't take as much damage. And as you can see at Builders Hall 8, that will very much be the strategy as well. Use that Super P.E.K.K.A. to tank for them defenses, which are devastating to the rest of your army, whether that be splash defenses or the Giant Cannon for the Battle Machine. Here comes the Mega Tesla, the brand new defense. It's an absolute beast, to be honest. It will shoot across the map, but it will also do chain lightning. Obviously, you're not going to see that in this mock-up because we're only going to have the single P.E.K.K.A., but just know that it can attack more than one troop. So as it comes into its range, it will blast it with a shock of lightning, and you can see the damage it does on the Super P.E.K.K.A. Able to get a couple of hits, but again, that Super P.E.K.K.A. is very strong, does have a lot of health, so it is going to add a number of strategies to Builders Hall level 8. Alright guys, let's show you the Super P.E.K.K.A. versus a number of defenses. Not necessarily a realistic base, but it will show you exactly how the Super P.E.K.K.A. will perform. So as we put it in here, let's just see how many shots it takes to get through a max wall. That is 3, 4, it will take 5 shots for the Super P.E.K.K.A. to get through the maxed wall. And with these 2 cannons in the Crusher, you can see that the first one is going to go down. There's that supercharged ability. Boom! Takes out that Crusher, no problem. It's very much like the giant skeleton from the home base, that limited edition troop we got, that basically, when it went down, did massive amounts of damage. So you can think of the Super P.E.K.K.A. like that. You can now see the Mega Tesla getting to work, and let's go ahead and actually put 2 Super P.E.K.K.A.s in here. Watch the damage onto that Mega Tesla. Gets it over half of the way down, so it's basically an extra shot from the Super P.E.K.K.A. that it does when it goes down. Now that is massive. In terms of them defenses, it will definitely help to get them down. You can see that multi-charge ability from the chain lightning ability from the Mega Tesla. The guard post troops, now this is where they're going to be useful. I mean, most of the defenses that deal any kind of damage to the Super P.E.K.K.A.s are actually down. We'll put a couple more there in a second, but you can see they were taking significant damage once it got down to it. But again, these splash damage defenses, which are normally quite troublesome for your mass armies, your barbarian strategies, things like that. I mean, you can use the minions as well, but more the Super P.E.K.K.A.s can help the ground armies. Let's add a few more defenses to the mix so you can see a little bit more of how they perform. You can see that we've changed the base significantly, a lot of defenses at the back, but we forgot to show you the P.E.K.K.A. versus the Tesla. So here we are, as we put the P.E.K.K.A. in then, the Tesla getting to work. It's not going to do significant damage to the Super P.E.K.K.A. It's very much going to be the same story of it does a decent amount of damage, but it really is going to be more of when there's multiple defenses shooting the Super P.E.K.K.A. As you can see here, that is when it's going to go down. It takes the Tesla in one shot, in fact, but as you can see, once there's multiple defenses in the area, the amount of damage that overcharge ability does, you could just see there, it was absolutely devastating. Almost took out the cannon, archer tower, and giant cannon just from that ability alone. So if you can get the Super P.E.K.K.A. in next to that thick of defenses, you know you've got a good shot here. Watch this. Boom! Of taking out all of them defenses just from when it goes down. So if you can use it to tank the giant cannon for them other armies coming forward, you know that you're going to do quite alright. So again, this is just a bit of a mock-up. Why don't we get that extra P.E.K.K.A. in there just to show you as well. All of the guard post troops are down. We have 3 Super P.E.K.K.A.s coming forward, and what do you know, they split up and go different ways. It's not going to matter, guys. They're going to overrule this base. I hope that this video has shown you a bit of gameplay of the Super P.E.K.K.A., showed you what strategies you may and may not want to use. Let's go ahead and test it with a couple of barbarians to wrap up the video. Alright guys, again with our little mock-up, let's test out 3 Super P.E.K.K.A.s and the rest Barbarians. So what we're going to attempt to do here is tank the splash damages with the Super P.E.K.K.A. The giant cannon, we're going to try and get the Super P.E.K.K.A. on that side. We can use the battle machine to tank on the opposite side, potentially for the roaster, and use the Barbarians to rush into the other defenses. So let's try this out guys, as we bring a Super P.E.K.K.A. in to tank the mortar and the giant cannon, battle machine to test the roaster. Then let's try and get the rest of these Barbarians in. Let's get a Super P.E.K.K.A. down at the bottom here. Can potentially get some Barbarians in there as well. Then let's bring the Barbarians forward to try and get the rest of these defenses. The roaster now is in fact going down. Let's get a couple of Barbarians into that giant cannon, and you can see the job that the Super P.E.K.K.A.s are doing in terms of tanking. You watch the one on the left. It took out the giant cannon and the roaster, the crusher in one shot. Let's get a few more Barbarians in. The Super P.E.K.K.A. at the back doing work again. Just a bit of a mock-up, but you can see how the Super P.E.K.K.A. will work, how you will want to use it. I hope you have found this video helpful. Make sure to leave a like if you have. Let me know how you're going to use the Super P.E.K.K.A. I've been your host, Judo Sloth, and until next time, peace out, guys. Okay guys, those of you that have stuck around for the end of the video, let's show you an attack against a Max Builder Hall 8. Now, what we're going to try and do here is use 2 of the Super P.E.K.K.A.s to tank on either side, battle machine on the opposite side to the giant cannon. Then we have a couple of cannon carts in as well to push things forward. So I'm going to put a line of Barbarians just to test for any bombs, make sure that our bombers get through here. Then let's put a Super P.E.K.K.A. on either side. Then we'll put cannon carts moving right the way through. I'm going to put the battle machine through the side opposite to the giant cannon, and then as they move forward, you can see the Super P.E.K.K.A.s tanking very nicely for the cannon carts. Let's get a couple of Barbarians into this side to help with them guard post troops. I really want to save a couple of them for the center. You can see a Super P.E.K.K.A. in there going to do a lot of damage, but we are going thin on that opposite side, so we do need to bring some Barbarians into the center here. Not too many, because we don't want that roaster to take them down. The battle machine is tanking the roaster. Can we get that ability? Should have maybe got a couple of Barbarians in. Not quite going to happen, but as you can see, we do indeed get the 2-star, and for a first attempt with that strategy, not too bad. You did get to see the Super P.E.K.K.A.s in action in terms of tanking the cannon carts. That's how I'm personally going to use them, to try and tank for the other ground troops. But let me know what you think. This will now most definitely wrap up the video. I've been your host, Judo Sloth, and until next time, peace out, guys.